Imagine your mind is a vast ocean, and the waves are your thoughts, crashing against the shores of reality. Some are tumultuous, bringing confusion. Others are clear and calm, leading to clarity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, gave us a manual, not to calm the waves, that's beyond our power, but to navigate through them with mastery. Lesson 1: Clarity begins with acceptance. Life, in its unrestrained complexity, casts upon us challenges that often seem insurmountable. But what if you could look at the chaos and see, instead of barriers, waves inviting you to dance upon them? This is the essence of the first Stoic lesson that Marcus Aurelius leaves us. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Acceptance is not a surrender, it's a strategic choice. It's the recognition that while we cannot control the storms of life, we can adjust our sails. Instead of being consumed by frustration, we can choose to see each setback as an opportunity to learn and grow. This doesn't mean that problems dissipate instantly, but our perception of them is radically transformed. Acceptance, as proposed by Aurelius, is the cornerstone of mental clarity. When we stop resisting the inevitable and start flowing with the currents of life, we discover extraordinary power, the ability to remain calm, focused, and effective, regardless of the circumstances. How can this lesson revolutionize your everyday life? Imagine facing a crisis at work, a personal conflict, or a stressful situation. By applying acceptance, you are no longer dragged by the whirlpool of emotions. Instead, you become the skilled surfer who uses the very waves, once seeming threatening, to gain speed and direction. This lesson from Aurelius is more than a philosophy, it's a daily practice. By integrating it, you not only think more clearly but also live with more purpose. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the master of them. And thus, each day, with each wave, you learn the art of surfing the waters of existence with Stoic elegance. Lesson 2: The wisdom of internal silence. It is better to be silent and be, than to speak and not be. The words of Marcus Aurelius resonate as a mantra for those who seek wisdom in silence. Amidst the whirlwind of noise that surrounds us, internal silence becomes not just a refuge, but an invaluable tool of power. But how can we access this state of tranquility when the external world insists on a constant cacophony? The answer lies in introspection. Marcus Aurelius was not speaking of a silence merely devoid of sound. He referred to an active silence, an inner focus that quiets distractions and clears the mind. This silence is a conscious choice, a practice of turning inward, exploring the vast realms of self-knowledge. So, how can we cultivate this internal silence? It begins with the practice of meditation, a journey to the center of our being where the noise of the world cannot follow. Here, in the solitude of the mind, we find our true voice. This is followed by the habit of regular periods of reflection, perhaps at dawn or dusk, times when we can contemplate our thoughts and actions and sift the essential from the superfluous. This internal silence is the antechamber of wisdom. With it comes the ability to listen not only to the words that are spoken but also to those that are not. One learns to respond rather than react, to understand rather than judge. Internal silence allows us to navigate life with a deeper comprehension and a clarity of thought that transcends the chaos of the everyday. To integrate the practice of internal silence is to allow the mind to become a serene lake, accurately reflecting the realities of life. It is here that clarity of thought is found and nurtured. It is here that the Stoicism of Marcus Aurelius reveals itself not just as a philosophy but as a practical path to a life of depth and understanding. Lesson 3: The perspective from above. Look at the stars as if you were going out to them. With this celestial provocation, Marcus Aurelius isn't suggesting a space voyage, but a mental expansion. The view from above is a powerful metaphor that teaches us about the importance of transcending the tumult and immediacy of our earthly concerns. By elevating our viewpoint, we see our problems from a position where they indeed appear smaller, more manageable. But how do we adopt this elevated view in practice, in real life, when daily pressures tether us to the ground? The key is to cultivate an observer mindset, a practice of detaching and looking at one's own experiences as if they were external to ourselves. This can be done through visualization exercises, where we consciously imagine ourselves rising above our lives, observing our actions and reactions as if we were an impartial third party. Another technique is reflective writing, which allows us to step out of the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions and see our lives with clarity and objectivity. By writing about our daily challenges as if we were recounting someone else's story, we gain emotional distance and, with it, insights that were previously obscured by excessive proximity. The perspective from above is also a practice of humility. By reminding ourselves of the vastness of the universe and our small place within it, we recalibrate the weight we assign to our problems. Instead of getting carried away by self-pity or ego, we align with a broader and more balanced view of our existence. By integrating the lesson of the view from above into our lives, we not only think more clearly, but we also live with a greater sense of peace and purpose. Just like the stars in the night sky, our problems are but points of light in an immense tapestry, and with the correct perspective, we can navigate through them with the grace and tranquility of those who see beyond the immediate. Open the doors to balance and prosperity with the path of the prosperous Stoic. Let the teachings of Stoicism guide you to the success and serenity you've always sought. Lesson 4: Nature as a Guide. In the fourth lesson, Marcus Aurelius invites us to delve into the revealing simplicity of nature. Consider the nature of things in their essence. You will be free from superfluities and see clearly the core of each object. He echoes the call for an uncluttered existence, where true clarity emerges as we strip away the layers of the unnecessary, focusing on what is truly essential. This lesson might seem distant from our technology-saturated and stimulus-rich reality, but its principle is more relevant than ever. In a world where information is abundant and often overwhelming, seeking the essence of things is an act of courage and a practice of discernment. But how do we put this lesson into practice? Start by paying close attention to the natural world. Nature operates through simple and efficient laws. A tree does not concern itself with yesterday or tomorrow, it simply is. Observing nature reminds us of the importance of being present, of acting in accordance with our own nature, our fundamental values and capabilities. Bringing this principle within, we can apply the same reasoning to our whirlwind of thoughts. By asking ourselves, what is the essence here? We cut away the excess and get to the heart of matters. This translates into less time spent on indecision and more effectiveness in action. The pursuit of essence is also a quest for truth. It requires us to put aside pretenses and unnecessary adornments, both in our thoughts and in our lives. By doing so, the fog of confused thoughts begins to dissipate, giving way to a clearer vision of what truly matters. Thus, the fourth lesson from Marcus Aurelius teaches us that by adopting nature as a guide, we find a beacon that illuminates not just clear thought, but also the path to an authentic and meaningful life. Lesson 5: Action aligned with reason. Do fewer things if you want more peace. This last lesson from Marcus Aurelius may be the most revolutionary for our hyper-connected and incessantly busy era. Advocating purposeful action, the philosopher-emperor calls us to slow down, to deliberately choose to do less, but with more meaning. Focused action, aligned with reason, emerges as the key to clear thinking and a peaceful life. Our culture often confuses busyness with productivity and worth. We've become accustomed to glorifying the act of being busy, as if mere hustle were a sign of importance and success. Yet Aurelius guides us toward a deeper truth. Purposeless busyness is not just ineffective, it's counterproductive. It distracts us from clarity and contentment. So, how can we apply the Stoic principle of action aligned with reason in our daily lives? It starts with intention. Each task, each commitment should be scrutinized under the light of purpose and usefulness. This means saying no to demands that don't resonate with our deepest values and yes to those that truly contribute to our goals and well-being. The practice of doing less but better isn't just about time management, it's about self-management. It requires discipline to resist the urge to fill every minute with activity. Instead, it proposes reserving spaces of time for reflection, planning, and above all, for actions that are in perfect harmony with our most compelling reasons. This principle has a transformative impact. It clears the fog of the overloaded mind, calms the turmoil of the heart, and places us firmly on the path of serene efficiency. Action aligned with reason is not just a Stoic lesson, it's a manifesto for a life of clarity, purpose, and peace. By incorporating this lesson into our daily life, we pave the way for an existence where every action is intentional, every moment is precious, and clear thinking is as natural as breathing. Each lesson is a step toward clarity, an invitation to think more lucidly in a world often clouded. Let's unfold each one, reveal how we can apply them, and ultimately understand that thinking clearly is not a gift, but a skill that can be learned and honed.